Loan Protection Plan, Product Knowledge, Training for Distributors, Line of Credit, Module 1 of 3. What is the Line of Credit Protection Plan? Line of Credit Protection Plan is an optional credit insurance package that is purchased by a customer with respect to a specific line of credit. This insurance is purchased separately and could provide benefits up to the outstanding amount remaining on a customer's line of credit in the event of a claim. A customer can take steps to help protect themselves and their family in the event that they experience certain unexpected life events. With the optional Line of Credit Protection Plan, the line of credit payments and/or outstanding principal balance may be covered if the customer experiences involuntary unemployment, injury, sickness, critical illness, or even loss of life. The Line of Credit Protection Plan is underwritten by Canadian Premier Life Insurance Company, and all benefits are paid to the lender, creditor, to reduce or eliminate the obligations of the personal line of credit agreement. The following presentation will walk you through the coverage and exclusions of the optional Line of Credit Protection Plan. It is important you have a strong understanding of the product so you can knowledgeably speak to your customers about the features and benefits so the customer can make an informed decision. Coverage Overview. The Optional Loan Protection Plan, LPP, for line of credit loans offers coverage for loss of life, critical illness, injury and sickness, and involuntary unemployment. The applicant must be under the age of 70 on the date they apply, and coverage ends on the insured person's 70th birthday. Here you can see the specific coverage for each one of the features of the LPP, including the benefit details and maximum benefits payable. Who is eligible for the optional Line of Credit Protection Plan? Only customers with an obligation under a line of credit agreement with the lender, creditor, are eligible to enroll in the Line of Credit Protection Plan. To be eligible, the customer must be a resident of Canada on the date of application, be under the age of 70 at the date they apply, and have agreed to the terms and conditions of the line of credit agreement with the lender, creditor. When does coverage begin? If a customer qualifies for and purchases the optional Line of Credit Protection Plan, the insurance coverage will begin on the earlier of the date of the line of credit agreement or the date the lender, creditor advances funds. When does coverage end? Coverage automatically terminates on the earliest of the following dates: the date of the insured person's death, the insured person's 70th birthday, the date stated in any written notice of termination sent to the insured person at the address as it appears in our records, the date insurance ends shown on the application to enroll, the date that the personal line of credit agreement terminates, the date the maximum number of benefit payments have been made, the date the maximum benefit amount has been paid, the date we receive the insured person's request to cancel coverage, the date the insurance premium payments fall 60 days in arrears, which is comprised of a 30-day late payment period and an additional 30-day grace period. The date the group policy ends. The date a combined total of $15,000 in life or critical illness benefit payments, or a combined total of $6,000 in injury and sickness or involuntary unemployment benefit payments has been paid in respect of any and all of the insured person's line of credit covered under line of credit balance insurance group policies issued by the company in any one 24-month period. Coverage detail: life. The death benefit will be equal to the outstanding line of credit balance on the date of death and will only be paid if the insured person dies before their 70th birthday. The maximum life insurance benefit with respect to all insured indebtedness for any customer is $15,000. If a critical illness benefit has already been paid, the death benefit will not be payable. The death benefit will not be paid if the cause of death resulted directly or indirectly from any of the exclusions listed in the policy. Coverage detail: critical illness. The critical illness benefit will be equal to the outstanding line of credit balance on the date of diagnosis and will only be paid if the insured person is diagnosed for the first time in their life with a covered critical illness after the date insurance begins, and while this coverage is in force and before their 70th birthday. Benefits are payable if the insured person is diagnosed with a covered critical illness and survives for 30 days following the date of diagnosis. The maximum critical illness benefit with respect to all insured indebtedness for any customer is $15,000. The line of credit balance will be paid to the lender, creditor. Benefits under the group policy are payable solely to the lender, creditor, to reduce or pay off the line of credit in full. The critical illness benefit will only be paid once. The critical illness benefit will not be paid if the critical illness resulted directly or indirectly from any of the exclusions listed in the policy. Covered critical illnesses. The covered critical illnesses are life-threatening cancer, stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, major organ transplant. Coverage detail: injury or sickness. The injury or sickness benefit will be equal to the monthly amount insured and will only be paid if the insured person suffers disability due to injury or sickness before their 70th birthday. If an insured person qualifies for both an injury benefit and an injury or sickness benefit, only one benefit will be paid. The injury or sickness benefit will not be paid if the injury or sickness resulted directly or indirectly from any of the exclusions listed in the policy. For injury only, an injury benefit will be paid if the insured suffers a fracture of one or more bones or a fracture of two or more fingers in respect to the same injury, excluding toes, and such fracture requires fixation, open operation grafting, or metallic fixation upon submission of appropriate claim documentation. For injury or sickness, an injury or sickness benefit will be paid if the insured was unable to work for 10 consecutive working days due to either injury or sickness, upon submission of appropriate claim documentation. The injury or sickness benefit waiting period is 10 business days and is retroactive to the date of disability. The insured person must be continuously disabled throughout the waiting period before they are eligible to receive benefits. After the 10-day waiting period, the benefits are calculated retroactive to the date of disability. Injury or sickness benefit schedule. We will make an initial payment based on the payment mode, equal to 1 monthly, 2 biweekly, or 4 weekly installments, and for each period of 30 days thereafter, if the insured remains unable to work and provides appropriate claim documentation. We will make an additional payment of the monthly amount insured, equal to 1 monthly, 2 biweekly or 4 weekly installments. An additional lump sum payment equal to the lesser of the remaining line of credit balance to a maximum of $2,000 is made if the insured person remains disabled after 6 monthly benefit payments have been made. The maximum total benefit is the lesser of the following amounts: 6 monthly benefit payments plus the remaining line of credit balance to a maximum of $2,000, $4,000 per insured account. Coverage detail: involuntary unemployment. The involuntary unemployment benefit will be equal to the monthly amount insured and will only be paid if the insured person suffers a layoff or termination without cause before their 70th birthday. The benefit is payable only if the insured person worked on a full-time basis for one or more employers, at least 20 hours per week immediately prior to the date that involuntary unemployment commenced. The 20-hour work requirement is continuous and must not be calculated through averaging. The involuntary unemployment benefit will not be paid if an injury or sickness benefit has been paid. Involuntary unemployment benefit schedule. We will make an initial payment based on the payment mode, equal to 1 monthly, 2 biweekly, or 4 weekly installments, and for each period of 28 days thereafter, if the insured remains involuntarily unemployed and provides appropriate claim documentation, proof of employment insurance, or social assistance. We will make an additional payment of the monthly amount insured equal to 1 monthly, 2 biweekly, or 4 weekly installments. An additional lump sum payment equal to the remaining line of credit balance to a maximum of $2,000 is made if the insured person remains involuntarily unemployed after 6 monthly benefit payments have been made. The maximum total benefit will be the lesser of the following amounts: 6 monthly benefit payments plus the remaining line of credit balance to a maximum of $2,000, $4,000 per insured account, or nil if the insured person has been an employed person for less than 90 days since the last period of involuntary unemployment ended. Payment of a benefit would exceed the maximum benefit payment, or a benefit under the injury or sickness coverage has been paid. Are pre-existing illnesses covered? A pre-existing condition means any injury, sickness, mental illness, nervous disorder, or any other condition for which medical advice, consultation, diagnosis, or treatment was received or recommended by a physician, or for which a reasonable person would have sought or received medical advice, consultation, diagnosis, or treatment from or by a physician during the 12 months immediately prior to the date insurance begins. Coverage for existing health conditions is limited. If a claim is made within the first 90 days of coverage and it is due to a pre-existing illness or condition, it will not be paid. This limitation does not apply if death, injury, critical illness, or sickness commences after the insured person has been continuously insured under this coverage for 90 days. If a claim occurs within the first 90 days of coverage and it is determined that it is not related to a pre-existing condition, the claim will be processed according to the certificate of insurance. General exclusions. We do not pay benefits under this insurance if death, injury, sickness, critical illness, or involuntary unemployment resulted directly or indirectly from a pre-existing condition. Not applicable if death, injury, critical illness, or sickness commences more than 3 months after the date insurance begins. Declared or undeclared war, an act of terrorism or participation in a riot or civil commotion, intentional self-inflicted injury. Suicide or attempted suicide while sane or insane. For the death benefit, this exclusion is only applicable within the first 24-month period following the date insurance begins. The commission or attempted commission by an insured person of any act, which if adjudicated by a court, would be an illegal act under the laws of the jurisdiction where the act was committed. travel or flight in any vehicle or device for aerial navigation, except as a fare-paying passenger aboard a licensed scheduled airline. An accident, injury, or sickness sustained where the insured person consumed, used, or had administered any drug, medication, narcotic, toxic substance, or any other substance, except for any drug or medication used in strict accordance with the prescription of a licensed doctor or dentist. Operating a vehicle either under the influence of any intoxicant or if the insured person's blood alcohol concentration is in excess of the legal limit in the jurisdiction where the accident occurred. Exclusions. Involuntary unemployment. We do not pay the involuntary unemployment benefit for unemployment due to sickness which resulted directly or indirectly from any of the exclusions listed under the General Exclusions section, if the insured is a seasonal employee. If the insured became involuntarily unemployed within 2 business days of the date insurance begins, unless they were insured under the group policy immediately prior to the date insurance begins for a previous personal line of credit agreement, or if the insured knew that they were about to become involuntarily unemployed when they applied for coverage, or if involuntary unemployment is the direct or indirect result of resignation or retirement from employment, dismissal from employment for cause, or a labor dispute or lockout, for sickness or injury for which benefits have been paid or are payable under another benefit provision of this certificate of insurance. Congratulations! You have now completed the Line of Credit Protection Plan Module 1, Product Knowledge. You will now be presented with a quiz covering the material in this module. Once the quiz has been completed with a 100% score, please proceed to the next training module in this series, Module 2, Sales, followed by Module 3, Claims, to complete your loan protection plan training.